Hey YouTubers, welcome back to the channel. My name is Carl. This is Discovering the Discovery, and today I think we're going to attempt to replace these headlights. As you can see, they're kind of old and faded out. I'm assuming that these are probably the original headlights from the coach. This is a 2008 Fleetwood Discovery, model number 40X. So let's jump right into it. Okay, real quick, so what I did is on these lights, there's a number on here. It says TYC. I'm assuming that's probably the manufacturer. And then it says 20-5575. And then on the other side, it says 20-5576. And that's the number that I took. I put that into Google, and I came up with some headlight parts. And then I just went to a website, and I'll link it down below where I got these from. And I looked up for what I needed, and it said that that cross-referenced to a 1999 to 2004 Jeep Grand Cherokee. So let's go look at the ones that they sent me. All right, these are the headlights that they sent me. As you can see, they're way better looking than the ones that are in it. They have a protective film on here, so once we get this in, we can just peel that off and it'll clean these right up. The way these normally mount inside the vehicle, inside the Jeep, there would be a long pin that had like a hex head or something like that that would go down through here and would attach to the vehicle. And then on the back of these lights, they have these little ball socket type of fittings. And then on the Jeep, where the headlight would go, they would have holes for these, and they would have like a little plastic socket, and these would just snap into place. Well, this is different over here, so this is going to be like a custom install. Now I think what they did, but I'm not 100% sure, but we'll have to look and see. When I show you in there, there's a metal bracket that's fabricated inside of the coach, and I think what happens is that these just screw out of that, and that's how it's held in. But we'll have to double check and see. So let's get into that. All right, we have the access panel open here, and let's see if I can get in here and show you guys what I'm talking about. So here is that metal bracket that I was talking about. It's mounted in 4 spots into this fiberglass. And I think what they did, I'm not 100% sure yet, but you can see like right here, get my finger in there. Right here is one of those little ball socket fittings, and there's 3 of them, and I think that they are just into these metal brackets. But I'm gonna have to kind of mess with it and see if that's the case. So I'm not sure I can do this and film it, but I'm gonna give it a shot. So let's see what we can do here. All right, so this is the easiest one to get to right here. And without blocking your guys' view too much, I think it will just screw out. Yeah, see, it's just threaded, and it has a Phillips head screw on there. I might have to grab a screwdriver for the other ones if they're too tight. So that's one, and then there should be one way over here on this side on the bottom. Yeah, it feels like there's one right there, but it might be too tight for me to do by hand. So let me get these out of here, and then I'll show you what I did. All right, I was able to get it disconnected. There was 2 bulbs, high beam and low beam, and then there were a couple of marker lights. You can kind of see those hanging down there at the bottom. Those had to come out. I am going to have to remove this bracket right here, this one on this side, because there's just not enough room to twist the headlight to drop it out. It's going to have to go out through the bottom of the coach, but there's just not enough room to do that. So that's a 7/16 inch bolt right back there, nut. So let me get those 2 off of there, and then we'll see what we can do about getting it over to the truck and seeing how everything lines up. Hopefully it's the same. I won't have to do any modifications to it. All right, I was able to get the old light out. As you can see, it had the two main headlights here, and then some marker lights, and then I believe this is for one of these is probably the turn signal, but it looks to be identical. They have the same cutouts and everything for these lights over here. These lights, this came with bulbs in them already, but I'm just going to use the ones that are already in there because they're already on the cord, so I can just put them back in there and twist them back into place. The only thing different is this has this adjuster on this side, it looks like, of some sort, and then there's this one in the center, but the new one doesn't have this one over here on this side, but there was nothing connected to it or anything, so I don't think that that's going to be an issue. I did have to loosen up some more of that bracket down below to get it out, just because, and then it had to go out through the bottom. It just would not fit the other way. So I'll take you over there and show you what it looks like. So here's what it looks like with the headlamp out. And this is the bracket I had to loosen. I actually didn't have to loosen these two over here. They're just kind of like help hold it in place. But this one, there were two 7/16 bolts on the bottom that had to come out, or one of them came all the way off, and then one of them I had to just loosen to get it out. And then there was one that goes on the top to hold the whole thing back together. So then when I get it put back in, these will just pop. They should just thread right back in, no problem. So yeah, let's see if we can get this thing in here and see how it looks. All right, we got that one in. It was a little bit more challenging than I thought it would be, just putting everything back together. I did have one casualty in there. The one of the 7/16 inch nuts broke off, so I have to go, get a file and file it down a little bit on the end, get some WD-40 on there, and get a new nut to put on there to hold it in place. Everything else went in pretty simple. It kind of just fit right into place. And as you can see, compared to the other one, let me back up over here a little bit. Looks pretty good. It looks brand new. Well, it is brand new, so, but it makes the coach look a lot better. It doesn't make it look so aged. So as you can see there, I got a tarp on the ground. I had to get underneath there to put those last two little bulbs in place because they were hard to see where they went in. But yeah, it worked out pretty good. So I am going to put some WD-40 on the other ones on the driver's side, and I'm going to let that soak in a little bit, and then I'm going to go see if I can get a replacement nut for that to fix it, because I don't want it just flopping around in there. I don't want it to be problematic later on down the road. So I will be back. All right, I had to make a quick trip to the hardware store. I ended up getting some of these 1/4 inch 20 zinc lock nuts. They have the nylon bushing on the inside of them. So that's that nut that broke off down there, and I'll get underneath there right now and fix that. And then we'll get to working on the other side. All right, on the driver's side, everything's pretty much the same type of fasteners holding it in, that same metal brackets holding it in. So I'm gonna get underneath here and get the rest of these wires undone and get those bolts loosened up so that this thing can come out, and then we'll get the new one put in. So here's a shot of it from underneath, and here's those little ball screws I was talking about before that normally would just go into like a plastic socket on the frame, but since this has to have a custom mount for it, they don't work that way here. So you just take a little screwdriver and loosen them up, and then they thread right out. Pretty coarse threads, and then the new ones will just line up and go right in there. And then here's another one up here. So there's 3 of them total. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. It's kind of tight to work in here. All right, so we got those out. And then the last thing we're gonna do is we took this nut off right here, and this one we're just gonna loosen so that the whole assembly can kind of just wiggle out of there. Once we get the lights unplugged from it, it makes it a lot easier. And I gotta get up in there and test, make sure I got all the lights put back in the right locations, which I think I did for the other side. All right, that should be good enough for that side. And then we can get these light bulbs here undone. They just pop out, twist out like that. And then there's another one here. All right, I'm gonna have to put the phone down, get these out of there. This is gonna fall on my face. All right, we got the new light just kind of loosely in place here. This frame needs to be tightened down, and then these little screw ball socket things need to be tightened down, and then we'll put the put all the light fixtures back in the holes, and we should be good to go. Then we can get up there and test everything out and make sure that it's working and see how it looks. All right, we got the driver's side headlight in. I know it's kind of hard to see in the sunlight, but both lights are working. So I am going to go test the bright lights now and see what happens with those. All right, before I test the bright lights, I'm going to test these turn signal lights. So it looks like the left turn signal on the driver's side is working pretty good. Now we'll go test the passenger one. All right, looks like the passenger one is not working, and I'm not sure why. All right, a little hard to see here, but the bright lights are working, and the turn signal bulb on this side is burned out. So I did verify that, which is kind of strange because I just had this thing state safety inspected and they were supposed to check all that. So either it happened when I was taking it out of there, or maybe they just missed it, I don't know. But anyways, all the lights are looking good now. I am going to end the video here. If you guys are liking this type of content, give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you wouldn't mind. It really helps me out. And as always, please leave your comments down below, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.